Hello everyone. Welcome to watch another episode of Pirate Show. And today we're gonna talk about money. And my guest for this topic is Julie. Hi, Julie.
Hi.
Julie is financial manager, and I want to start with asking what the question most people usually ask you: what is the financial manager?
Sure. A financial manager is somebody who helps you create a budget, create an expense list of income coming in, goals that you have, whether it's to buy a house, retire, save for college, whatever that may be. That's what I help you do.
hmm A lot of people have misconception that financial management is only for very rich people.
That is not true. Financial management is for everybody, whether you are just starting with $1 or you've been saving a long time and have millions of dollars. It does not matter. Everybody needs financial management.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I wanted to make this episode to teach people who are graduating how to get the
Yes.
money right from the beginning, because otherwise they're gonna learn later on, like 10 years later they graduate, and 10 years later they're gonna figure out like all their finances are so messed up and they don't know what to do or how to fix it anymore.
Sure, sure. Yeah,
And
and
I
and that happens.
Yeah, and that's why I asked you briefly before we went live, did you do your finances right from the beginning?
Yeah, so I really didn't. I feel like had I not been as worried about just the basics, paying my rent at the time, affording groceries, affording gas, I was so caught up in that, which of course we is important. We have to live, but I should have at least put a little money in savings, even if it was $10 a week or something. Because I definitely wasted $10 a week. I think we all do.
Mhm.
And I just didn't think about it. So I didn't start really saving till my early to mid 20s. Again, that's still good. That's still young. But
That
think
is still
about
really
that
good.
5 to 10 years that I could have been doing a better job.
hmm Because most people, I was just looking up as well, the age to open your own bank account is 18. And
Yep.
that's, as I think, as soon as you turn 18, you should start doing it. I'm like looking at the viewer, thinking about the viewers, and if you
Mhm.
are a kid or graduating per kid who's watching, or you're a parent, then
Mhm.
you just have to know, like, first thing, when you get 18, doesn't matter what your finances are, you have to start getting it right away now when you're learning it. And if your
Yeah,
parents didn't have it right, you can still learn to do it right for yourself.
absolutely. Another thing I'll suggest is even if somebody is under the age of 18, you can
hmm
do a what's called high school savings or high school checking. A lot of places offer that. And also, you can do a custodial Roth IRA where you can start as soon as you get a job, even if you're 14, 15. You can start
Oh,
to contribute right away.
I didn't even know that.
Yep,
So as it doesn't matter of the age, it matters when you start working.
correct. Because for an IRA, as soon as you have what's called earned income, meaning something on W 2, even if you just get a job at a local smoothie shop or something,
hmm
you can contribute that money to the IRA and start saving for retirement.
Okay, so but it doesn't go automatically. You have to make that choice. on your.
Correct. Yeah, so that's where you need somebody who knows to tell you, hey, this is what you need to do and help you get that set up. So you are able to, have investments, you're able to do all kinds of things with that money and make sure that you're set up for the future.
Mm-hmm. And okay, that's a good information as well, because I didn't even know that. There's so much, and that's the thing. There's so many things that people, especially young people, don't know about finances. That's why they need financial advice,
Yes.
because yeah, because otherwise, let's say usually what happens, they 18 or younger, they get a job, but they
Mm,
spend all the money that they're making, they spend, and they end up living paycheck to paycheck.
right. Exactly. And, life is expensive, right? I mean, you come out of school and instantly you're hit with car payments, insurance. Even if you're still living at home, you still have to worry about gas and all these things. So it's hard to think about retirement or saving. But I think it's important to, at least try to put away a little bit. It really adds up.
Hmm. Okay, so give me some steps right away. Not me, for the viewers.
Yeah.
Some steps that needs to be done right away when you're now 18, you
Yep.
graduating. What
Hmm.
accounts that you have to set up?
Sure. So the first thing I would suggest is if you have not already opened your own checking and savings accounts, do that because you want to have things in your name that you have access to. You want to get used to paying the bills and, managing the checking account. The savings account is where you can put a little money each week, even if it's $5. I suggest looking for a high interest savings account. There are several different banks online. You can just Google high interest savings account, and a lot of them are free. They have no fees. Put away a little bit each, week, month, whatever. You'll be amazed how quickly it adds. The second type of account I would open, if you have any earned income, is a Roth IRA. Because a Roth IRA, the way it works is you're putting in money that has already been taxed, meaning when you retire, you don't have to pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So, what is the benefit of that? Well, if you're young, we have a long way to go for retirement. We don't know what the tax code will look like in 40 years or so. So it's advantageous to to not worry about that when you retire. If
Mm-hmm.
you are not eligible to do a Roth for some reason, because if you make too much money, you can't contribute,
Mm-hmm.
excuse me, you could look at doing a traditional IRA, which is where you are using money that is before tax. It grows tax deferred. And then when you retire, you're only taxed on the money you take out. So, that's something obviously in retirement. Okay, then you have to be concerned with how much you take, etc. But still, it still is growing this entire time, tax deferred.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the
And
main accounts.
mm-hmm. And let's go and talk about now uh, about paycheck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So they get a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you even understand that? Because you have to understand that what you're making, there's taxes going off, and then like
Yes. Yeah.
which percentage to put on as savings.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's a great question. Ideally, in a perfect world, you'd be able to save 20% of your paycheck. The reality
Mm-hmm.
is, life is too expensive right now to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if you're in a situation that you can do anything you want to savings, I recommend at least 20%.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you cannot do that, which most people cannot, then at least take, say 3% or 5%, and it might seem like a lot, but if you set it to auto pay, you will not
Mm-hmm.
notice the difference. Trust me. You'll like, it won't even be something you pay attention to. But I highly
Mm-hmm.
recommend you set it to auto pay every time you get paid.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice because in that age you don't think about that yet.
Right.
So auto pay is perfect because then you don't have to worry about putting it in your account. It just goes automatically there.
Yeah. Quick personal story. So my son is 23. He opened up a custodial Roth when he was 14. He got his first job at Culver's, and he didn't make much money at all. So I told him $10 a month, just do $10 a month. And he
Mm-hmm.
cried and complained, but he did it. Well, then he said, "Oh, I didn't notice that. Let's move it to $20 a month." He kept that for a long time. Then he realized one day, oh my gosh, I have like, $500-600. Where did this come from? And he was excited. So then he started to add a little more. Um, it adds up very quickly. Now here
It
he is,
does.
23, 9 years he's been saving, and it adds up, after 9 years, even at $20 a month.
Mm-hmm. And then you start adding more when you start making more and everything like that. But
Right.
not a question as well. Some kids get after graduating, let's say they graduate in college and
Hmm.
they're getting a higher paying job.
Right.
So now, should they get the financial manager right away, or what is the amount? Or what? How does the money changes when you're getting a high paid paycheck? So when do
Yes.
you know that you need like a advisor or somebody like that?
I think that as soon as you start saving, you should talk to a financial advisor and at least get a financial plan done so that you know what amounts you need to save for retirement or whatever goal you have. And you'll be amazed, just seeing the numbers on paper with inflation and everything else, how important it is. And if nothing else, they can at least get you started in the right direction. Um, you don't necessarily have to sign up for services or anything, but at least go have that consultation and get that plan ran.
Hmm. And one thing as well, not just retirement account, but also your personal savings account as well.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's important because then you have this. The way I see my own savings account,
Mm-hmm.
it's there for me not to use. Occasionally, I might need it or something like this. It's like I did need it when the COVID lockdown was,
Oh,
so I
yeah.
needed
Mm-hmm.
it. But generally, it's where like you say, small amount. It just adds up, and
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
there. Not for me, not as much for emergency, but just to know that that's there. It just gives that like safety feeling.
Yes, of course. Then if you have a big emergency, at least you know you have some money.
Hmm.
There's nothing
And
worse than a major emergency and you've got nothing and you're trying to, if you have someone to borrow from, great. Most people do not. Um, or you're trying to pull a loan and then you end up paying high interest or something like that. It's better to just have it there.
hmm and I think the best thing is like even if you don't have to use it at all, and you just see
Yeah.
the money there,
Yeah. It's nice to
you just
know.
see like, okay, I have my paycheck and money coming in, and then I have this account where it's like a lot of money. So that feels
Yes.
good.
It's so nice.
Hmm. So that's how it works out. What are the other things that when the kids are graduating? they don't notice? Maybe from your experience or from your son's experience, what were the things that you would have maybe done differently, or you would advise
Yeah.
to do differently?
Well, I would say for myself personally, I would have started something way sooner. I would not have waited till I was in my mid 20s to start saving. Um, the second thing, like when it came to my son, is I would have encouraged him to have more in a savings account, like what you're talking about, Pere, because the problem with my son, excuse me, is that if he sees the money, he uses it. So the IRA is good because I told him you can't touch this or you'll get penalized. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's, out of the question. But if he knows that money is there, well, he's going to spend it on something. So I do
Mm-hmm.
wish that we would have done better with that savings account.
Mm-hmm. And that's what it's really hard for the young people to understand, and they have to. So
Yeah, very difficult.
do not spend all the money that you're making. It just seems so obvious to spend the money that you're making, but what happens, you're gonna be from 20, you're gonna be 30, and
Yeah,
if that's still your habit, then you don't have as many opportunities that other people have. You don't have the freedom,
right. That's
because
the
when you
thing.
have that money there, extra money there, you can
Hmm.
invest. You can have
Hmm.
some, like I said, you can have some investments that bring in you extra money, and you have more freedom to choose what you want to do.
Exactly. And like you said, the peace of mind of knowing that it's there. I mean, there's something really nice about that. And if you're not stressed about money, you can use that energy to other things, that are more productive.
Hmm. So, but from also from people that you work with, because you work in a with financial people.
Hmm.
What are the Do you see, did they set things up right from beginning, or what are the stories you usually hear?
Well, I hear that a lot of my colleagues are on the same lines that as soon as you start working, you need to start planning. As soon as
Okay.
you have any money coming in, because the longer you wait, the less time you have to grow the money. Um, if you start early enough, the power of compounding interest is incredible. If you just go to Google and you type in compound interest calculator and play with it, put in like, I don't know, say $25 a month for the next 20 years at a rate of like 6%, you'll be amazed what that will be in 20 years. And, people say, oh, well, I'll never have $250,000. Well, you'd be surprised. If you're
Yeah.
young, it adds up very quickly with
Hmm.
interest.
I've heard some stories where people say that their parents set the retirement accounts up, and they were actually making just the average pay. But
Hmm.
then the retirement account was already having so much money,
Hmm.
so their kids didn't even know that there's so much money that their parents were able to save.
Right, exactly. And the chances are they weren't putting away a huge amount. But
Mm-hmm.
if they started early, like when the kid was young, like a baby, I mean, 18 years, that can grow very fast.
Mm-hmm. That's a good way as well. So that's good information about. I didn't know that you can start putting money away when you start working, not
Yeah,
when you're actually 18.
yep. It's called a custodial IRA.
Mm-hmm. Good. But for the people who are graduating from college,
Yep.
what that's the difference between 18 and the college graduate person who graduates from college, what should be doing the people who are graduating from college?
Yeah, that's a great question, Pare, because that's a very different scenario. So chances are you're a little older, you're already in your 20s, you've already been working, maybe a small job to make ends meet through college. But now you're looking at a real career. Chances are you're going to get hired at a company that's going to offer you benefits, specifically a 401k. It's very important that you contribute to that 401k, at least to the amount that your company will match you. So, for example, if they will match you every penny to 5%, you need to contribute 5%. If they will match you to 6%, do 6%, because that is a guaranteed return on your investment just for putting the money in with that match. You'll be amazed how fast that adds up. You figure that's dollar for dollar match. You're doubling your investment essentially. So that's number one. I can't stress that enough, how important that is. The second thing you should look at is if your company offers an HSA, health savings account. This allows you to contribute some money pre-tax, so it comes out of your taxable income, to healthcare expense. Be careful with that. You don't want to put in too much, too much that you're not going to use. But, you have a pretty good idea usually of what you're going to spend. Another thing you can look at is if there's any kind of like company stock purchase plan. Depending on what company you work for, that is another great way to save. You can put in like $20 a paycheck and buy the company stock with it. If you stay with that company a long time, I've seen people retire very wealthy just from buying company stock for, 30 years. So that's my biggest suggestions on top of everything else I've already talked about. You need to make sure you have checking, savings, emergency fund. Emergency fund, generally you want 3 to 6 months of living expenses minimum that you can get to anytime.
And I have this kind of question, Julie, from you and your coworkers. How do people get in a finance work as a job? Did you choose
great
it right away?
question.
Did you choose it right away after high school or after college?
No.
Or did you work something else before you got into finances?
Yeah, so I was always interested in it, and I didn't really know how I wanted to do finance. So I started off actually doing loans for houses and did that for a few years. Realized it really wasn't for me. So I got an entry-level job at a stock brokerage to just see how I liked it and learn kind of the behind the scenes. I loved it, and I've been doing it since. That was 14 years ago. If someone is interested in becoming a financial advisor, the first thing, of course, is to make sure you have your college degree. From there are different training programs with different companies that will get you licensed. You need a lot of licenses, and that process can be a little grueling, but it's worth it in the end. From there, you just want to pick a really good local mentor who's going to help you learn and work through real life situations, because all the education in the world cannot prepare you to sit with a customer who says, I need your help, and to know what to do for that person. So I spent many years under mentors, and I still have mentors. I mean, you never stop learning. But that would be my suggestion on how to go about it.
Great. Because I think that's a good career as well.
Oh, it is. And I'll tell you, I love it. I mean, 14 years later, and I'm still waking up excited every day to go to work.
And that's also an easy way to get your finances right.
It is. I mean, because I'm constant. Well, it's it's good and bad, and I'll tell you why. I know too much information, so I get
Hmm.
very guilty. Um, a lot. I think too much. I think sometimes. If I have an emergency come up and I have to use a credit card or something, I feel bad that I didn't have enough money aside, or I should have known. I should have done better, right? So sometimes it's not great personally. I wish I
Hmm.
could be a little more relaxed, but it's okay. At least I have the knowledge.
Hmm. That's true. Okay, Julie, thank you so much for all the information that you give. And that's going to be setting up all the viewers. Make sure
Yeah,
that you get your accounts right from the beginning. You don't want to wake up 10 years later figuring it out that you're living paycheck to paycheck. You want to
right.
have safety accounts, all the retirements and all the things set up so you're going to feel comfortable. So,
Yep, absolutely.
any last words that you want to give in a financial world?
I would say if you have been nervous about making an appointment, just make one. You have nothing to lose. Most of them are complimentary, so call somebody you trust and get a plan in place. Don't be shy and never feel like you don't have enough money, or um, you're not good enough yet. You you
Or too
you will
young?
be, or you're too
Like,
young. That's right.
yeah, like I
Everybody
think.
needs to get started.
Mm-hmm. And they just go in like 18 years old, go in and ask and explain that you want to get it right from beginning. And people usually are really reasonable in finance world. I believe that they will just like, let me help you out.
Absolutely. And I'm licensed in almost all 50 states, so feel free to reach out to me directly with any questions or concerns, or if you want a plan run, just get with Pare. She'll give you my information and we
Your
can
information
get
is all in
something going.
description as well. If you're viewing right
Good.
now, all Julie's information and links for her website is in descriptions. So this
Great.
is how you can get in contact with her. So good
Well,
with that
thank
one.
you for having me, Pray. This was really great. And I'm so glad you're thinking of our graduates. Congratulations to everybody.
Hmm. One thing as well, because I'm also a happiness expert. So I always
Yes.
ask my guests, we talk about different topics with my guests, but I always ask them still, what does happiness mean for you?
That is a really great question. Happiness for me is peace of mind, knowing that everything is taken care of, everybody is safe, everybody is, got what they need. Not more than they need, but what they need. Everyone is healthy, and that's what gives me happiness, is just peace of mind.
Hmm. Great answer. Thank you, Julie. Thank you for being a great guest. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And have a nice day and get your finances right.